Oh, hello there. You're looking at a Brigadier. This is a Bucket Brigade style delay, like kind of in the Memory Man vein from our pals at Strymon, which means that it's digital, it's extremely tweakable, extremely well thought out, and extremely well put together, and it sounds good. I mean, these are all opinions, of course, but some of those things I don't think you can really argue all that much because they're really true across all their stuff. So just a quick walkthrough. This pedal does a lot. Probably is not going to be 5 minutes, let's be honest. But you guys will forgive me, I'm sure. And if you don't, you'll probably unsubscribe. And I can't stop you. But I wish you wouldn't. So anyway, onward we go. So first we've got time here that sets the delay time. Obviously, you can tap the delay time in as well. The delay time is controlled by 3 modes, short, medium, and long. And I forget the specific ranges, but short is something like 40 milliseconds to 400, then it's like 400 to 1,000 in medium, and like 1,000 to 5 seconds or something really long in long mode. And the way that Strymon describes that is to just say that short is kind of like 1 bucket chip, and medium is maybe 2, and then long, I don't know if it's actually 3, but they say it just kind of goes beyond what any solely chip-based actual analog delay could do. So if you want really, really long repeat times, you can do it with this one, and you really couldn't do it elsewhere. So we've got a little tap switch here for when you tap your notes, what the repeats happen at. So it's set on quarters at the top, but you can also set dotted eighths and triplets, which we'll walk through, and that's a pretty cool feature. Mix to the left is 0. Reverb signal to the right is 100%. Delay. Left is 0 delay. Right is all delay and no clean. We've got a mod here that just adds some oscillation and weirdness to the signal. Repeats, which if you set it around 3 o'clock, it will kind of oscillate and repeat almost forever without feeding back, which is a really, really cool feature, especially for ambient or really washy stuff. And then obviously it'll go crazy if you go past here. Bucket loss here is just kind of apparently with Bucket Brigade chips, like you kind of get this noisy kind of loss artifact type situations that happen in the repeats, and this controls how much of that there is. So we've got it in the middle, but all the way to the left would be none of that. All the way to the right would be a lot more noise and loss. There's also a bunch of extra features on the pedal with like different combinations of the switches that you can hold. The most notable to me is there's a filter control attached to this. So if I hold both switches, I can further control how bright or dark the repeats are, which is cool. You can do that same thing with maybe like the time or the mix knob, and you can make the pedal go up or down 3 decibels when you engage it, so it makes things louder or softer if you need it. So it's cool to have that if you would want it. And then there's a way when you start up, you can hold something to where you can turn on or off the persist, like the delay will keep going if you turn the pedal off. I think that's it. And then just, the back, it is a stereo. It's got stereo outs, and it's got an input for like a expression type pedal. And so you can control any one knob. You can assign any one parameter to an expression pedal and customize it even further. So the amount of possibilities that there are with this thing are pretty insane. But that's it, kind of the flyover, and then on-off right here, obviously. So we'll get right to the sounds. I'm playing a Nash T57 Telecaster as usual into the Morgan RCA 35. Clean sounds like this. And here is the Brigadier at these settings. So just as far as the modes go, the really quick flyover will be to kind of show you the shortest and longest settings at each one. So the shortest space between repeats in short mode sounds like this. Kind of like a bathroom almost is what it sounds like, whereas the longest amount of space at short mode is, which is 400 milliseconds or something, like I said. So bearing in mind, in short mode, you can't tap anything slower than this. So if you wanted to tap something slower, you jump to medium mode, where the shortest or the quickest, you know what I mean, the least amount of space between repeats is So that's kind of the little country twangy slapback kind of thing. And then when you come all the way to the top here, so you can get a lot longer, you know, space and stuff there in medium mode. And then in long mode, that's kind of the shortest. So you couldn't tap anything quicker than this tempo in long mode. And then if you come over here all the way to the end, it's crazy. Wait for it. It'll repeat eventually. There it is. So kind of weird. Definitely extra stuff that you can use. We're going to hang out in medium mode for the most part because that's kind of the happiest medium for, well, medium. Oh, boy. So that's that. Let's look at the tap stuff real quick. So if let's just tap we got quarter notes. We can switch it over to dots and tap. Dotteds and then triplets. So there you go. We're going to hang out on quarters because why not? And then mix knob is pretty self-explanatory, but just bear in mind that 3 o'clock is about 50% your guitar and the delay. Kind of at the same volume. And then up here, 100% wet, you'll hear I'll strike and then it's kind of delayed, obviously, because all you got is the delayed signal. So that's cool too. We'll let it hang out at about 50%. The mod sounds like this. So it starts to get really kind of weird and warbly sounding up there the further that you go. So let's let that hang out. We'll just turn that off for now. Repeats again. The down here at the very bottom is one single repeat. That's it. Up here around 3 o'clock is again where they say that it'll just kind of hang out on its own and keep going, but not self-oscillate and feedback, which is really cool. Like I said, really, really useful feature, especially for, there's just a ton of useful times that you could use that. So, and then if you wanted to, of course, get all feedbacky, then you can do that, because here it comes. But let's control that. So we'll let it hang out around here. And then bucket loss, we've been just kind of at noon, so kind of halfway, just like a little bit, just kind of normal range of kind of degradation of the signal for a bucket style chip or whatever. Come all the way down here, and you get no loss. So that's obviously useful if that's what you want. That's kind of, like I said, that's kind of the brightest. That plus the filter will be like kind of the brightest repeats that this is capable of. Whereas if you come all the way over here, you hear kind of the noise and the fizz that adds to it. So that's desirable for some too. So again, let's go to no loss, and then let's try the filter. So if we set our filter all the way, set it all the way to the right here, then we can, and then have zero loss. These are the brightest repeats that the Brig is capable of. Pretty stinking bright, if you want it to be. Then if we set the filter, sorry, I've got my pick, I'm kind of having issues here. If we set the filter all the way to the left at the darkest, and then we add a good amount of loss, like let's say, let's just come to here so that it doesn't get too crazy. This is about the darkest it'll get. Pretty stinking dark. So it's really cool that you can customize that, based on what your preference is or whatever, that it's that tweakable, and so that's really cool. So let's come back. Filter, let's just set maybe in the middle, and we'll just leave bucket loss here in the middle too. So let's add a little mod and some repeats and stuff, and try and make cool sounds. Like moddy. It's probably a little too moddy. Moddy, is that a word? I don't know. And a little too much loss for my taste, but it's there, and you can make a noisy mess with this pedal if you want to, which is really cool. So anyway, that is the Brigadier from Strymon. Check out their website in the description below. Feel free to subscribe if I haven't ticked you off too much. And other than that, bye.